Hello owners, and welcome to week 13 in review. I'll tell you what, we had 4 incredibly close games, but we're not going to start there. We got to start with the Poon. Game of the week. The Poon almost scores the highest this season, which he was just a couple points short. Almost the highest forever in just his 3rd or 4th win of the year. So the Poon, 151. Sheboygan Headbangers, 105. For the Poon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in double digits. Led by Percy Harvin's 34. Followed by Pierre Garcon's 33. That's not going to happen every week. Tom Brady with 23. That might happen every week. But he had 7 in double digits. 3 in double digits for Sheboygan. With Eli's 29 and Marshawn Lynch's 28 leading the way. So as big of a difference as that was, that still wasn't the blowout of the week. Blowout of the week, again, the universe is all right. Pilot Lights, 126, Big Daddy, 35. As you can imagine, we have 5 in double digits for Pilot Lights, led by 33 from Ray Rice on 204 rushing yards, 10 receiving yards. I thought he had more like 280 total yards in that one or something. I don't know. Anyway, he did have 1 rushing touchdown. 26 from Matthew Stafford, 22 from the 49er defense. 35. With the score of 35, no one in double digits for Big Daddy. His high score was 8 points for the Patriots defense. Moving on. Like I said, we had 4 really close games this week. All 4 of these final games were decided by 8 points or less. Zero, Leslie, Chow, Big Brown, tops Cats with Guns, 99-91. This 8-point victory only had 3 points, 3 players in double digits for Leslie Chow. Aaron Rodgers, 41 of them. So Aaron Rodgers accounting for almost half of Zero's points by himself. 19 from Ryan Matthews in that one. 5 in double digits for the Cats, led by Rob Gronkowski's 24, including 3 touchdowns, one of which was a rushing touchdown. A little bit of a lateral, I guess, is what they were calling it. The Gronk, 24 in that one. Moving on. The Dogs pull out a 117-114 win over Master Killer. 5 in double digits for the Dogs, led by CJ2K, making a comeback. He is alive and well and doing quite well for the Chili Dogs. 33 in this contest, 153 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, including a 48-yard romp. 21 by the Ravens defense in that one. 5 in double digits for Master Killer, led by Phillip Rivers, 29, Maurice Jones-Drew, 24 on Monday night, making it a little bit of a close shave for those Chili Dogs. Pitons, Loose Cannons. Loose Cannons had been on a terrible slide. Should have stayed on that slide. Pitons lose 64-67. The big story here, Pitons don't have a quarterback. They didn't change out their roster. That could be a first for the year. Could be the first time in years in the Peanut Butter Jelly Time League that an owner hasn't updated his lineup going into game time. Shame on you. More on that later. Anyway, Loose Cannons, 3 in double digits, led by Matt Moore's 20 points, 162 passing touchdown, 22 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown. More on that later. More on more later. 4 in double digits for the Pitons, led by Cruz and Welker, who had 13 apiece. Both of them had more than that combined each last week against the Rockers. But I'm not bitter. Yes, I'm bitter. So let's get to the Rockers. Rockers lose by 4 to Super Simon, 103-99. Why, do you ask? Because the Rockers made a substitution. They put in Vince Young. Remember that Matt Moore line? That was kind of the line that I was predicting for Vince Young after his 30-point output last week. The thought was sound. All of a sudden, Vince Young remembered, I suck. And he did, for 9 points. 3 in double digits for Super Simon, led by Drew Brees' 33 points on Sunday night. And LaShawn McCoy had 24 way back in that Thursday game when Vince Young was sucking it up. The other big score here was Lance Moore, 8 points. He got all 8 of those points on one pass play from Drew Brees. It was a 15-point touchdown in that game that kind of iced it for Super Simon. 3 in double digits for the Class City Rockers, 23 from Foster, 20 from Hakeem Nicks. All right, let's take a quick look at Pick'em before we get into the playoff picture. Hate when that happens. Hit the wrong button. All right, so essentially, there's 1 week left, and it's a 2-team race. 5 was the leading number, and that was by the Pilot Lights this week. Piton's Big Daddy each had 3. Leslie Chow and the Rockers each had 4. With only 6 games remaining, 6 possible points, it's really a 2-team race at this point. 52 points for the Pitons in first place. Leslie Chow in second with 50. Leslie going for the daily double like the Rockers did last year with a championship in Pick'em and a championship in the Big Dog World. So 52 and 50. Big Daddy and Clash City Rockers out of it with 45 in third place. All right, so let's talk about playoffs. Playoffs! I'm going to get up close and personal for this one. 7.5 minutes in. All right. Let's do the easy stuff first. Divisional winners. Leslie Chow, you're in. You are the Bryan Divisional Champ. The Stewie Division. Chili Dogs, Sheboygan Headbangers. Chili Dogs, 7 and 6. Sheboygan Headbangers, 6 and 7. Here's the good news, bad news. Chili Dogs, if they win the Stewie. It's straightforward. If Sheboygan Headbangers lose, no matter what, Chili Dogs win the division. If the Chili Dogs lose and the Sheboygan Headbangers win, both teams would finish at 7 and 7 in the Stewie. However, Chili would win the division by virtue of a regular season sweep over the Sheboygan Headbangers. So, irregardless of the outcome of the games, we're looking at a Chili Dog victory in the Stewie division. Now let's get to the complicated quagmire. It's a quagmire in the quagmire. If the Pitons win, they win the quagmire. Again, cut and dry. However, if Super Simon wins, they win the quagmire. If Super Simon wins and the Pitons lose, well, obviously, because they're playing each other. So let me take that back, right? So Super Simon wins that Super Simon Piton contest. The 2 teams finish at 8 and 5. Super Simon wins the quagmire division by virtue of regular season sweep. Regardless of the winner of the CCR Loose Cannon game, right? Because if CCR was to be tied with the other 2 teams at 8 and 6, I've lost to both the Pitons. I split with Simon, but Simon has a better overall divisional record. All right? So, cut through the crap. Pitons win, they win the division. Super Simon wins, he wins the division. Based on tiebreakers, irregardless of the Loose Cannon CCR matchup. All right, so let's get to the wild card. The Leslie Chow, as I mentioned, has won the Bryan division. Cats with Guns and the Pilot Lights are both tied at 7-6, and they play this week. So the winner of that game is going to be 8-6, which means you got to be 8 wins to even get into the tiebreakers, okay? So the wild card record will be 8-6. Loose Cannons, both bigs, Big Daddy and Big Shirley, Master Killer, and Sheboygan Headbangers all have been eliminated from the wild card. They cannot reach 8 wins. And again, if Chili Dogs win, they are 8-6, but they win the division. All right, so here's my favorite scenario. The Rockers win, Super Simon loses, Rockers get the wild card at 8-6. Super Simon would be 7-7, and the Rockers hold head-to-head tiebreakers over both Pilot Lights and Cats with Guns. So no matter who comes out of that game, the victorious team, they would lose a tiebreaker to the Rockers. If Super Simon wins versus Pitons, and the Rockers win versus Loose Cannons, they will be a 3-way tie at 8-6. As I mentioned, Super Simon, by virtue of tiebreaker, wins the division. So that leaves Pitons and Rockers at 8-6. Pitons move on out of that division as the 8-6 wild card team out of that division. Now there's still an 8-6 team from the Bryan division. So if the Pilot Lights win that matchup, the Pitons get the wild card. Excuse me. So Pitons get the wild card if they end up at 8-6, irregardless, because they beat both Pilot Lights and the Cats. If Super Simon wins and the Rockers lose, tiebreaker is the same as the above one. So again, Pitons would get that wild card. Now, if Super Simon loses and the Rockers lose, the wild card would then go to the winner of the Pilot Lights Cats with Guns matchup. So if you're a Pilot Light or you're a Cat, you're hoping for a Simon and a Rocker loss, then the winner of that game becomes the wild card. We would each finish at 7-7. All right? So I think that is the roundup. And we're at 12.5 minutes already. I'll probably try and type up a little something to make sure that everybody's clear on that. Pitons are in irregardless, either as a divisional champ or as a wild card. Chili Dogs are in as a divisional champ. Leslie's in as a divisional champ. There are 4 additional teams vying for that last spot. Awesome. All right, man. Have a great final weekend. We'll see you later on.